Let's go Rockies. Let's go Rockies. The Colorado Rockies, ladies and gentlemen, coming back from the All-Star break with a bang as they take down the San Francisco Giants in their first game back from the break by a final score of 7-3. Cal Quantrill was sharp, which was good to see. We know his last few starts have not been so good, and it was looking like another slow start for the Rockies offense, but they picked it up late as they start this unofficial second half of the season with a 7-3 victory over the division rival San Francisco Giants. I've got the victory cap on for everybody watching on YouTube. Let's get this party started. The Rockies win, we get tacos. Let's get into it on tonight's Locked On Rockies POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Rockies POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It is your Locked On Rockies POSTCAST. Hope everybody is doing well out there on this Friday, July the 19th, right around 10 o'clock at night as the Rockies are victorious in their return from the All-Star break, taking down the Giants by a final score of 7-3. The Rocks improved to 35-63, still in fifth place, of course, in the National League West. And the Giants, not much, I guess they're a handful, at least 10 wins better than the Rockies, but the Giants fall to 47-51, and they are in fourth place in the National League West. And what an interesting game tonight for the Rockies, folks. And like I said there in the open, Cal Quantrill did his job. We'll spend a majority of the second segment kind of talking about Quantrill's outing, what went right, what went wrong, and just, nice to see him bounce back as a starting pitcher after a couple of rough outings. But I think we got to start off the show tonight with the offense and really just the wackiness of this game. And why don't we just let's just get right into it. I don't know if you guys did not watch this game live. There was something pretty funky that happened in the fourth inning of this game, as it could have ended up being the deciding factor here. As, a couple of runs essentially not ended up. I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest with you. It's the first time that I've ever seen it. I don't know how often it's happened, in Major League Baseball history, to be honest with you. And let's set the scene here. So we get to, let me pull it up just so I can give it to you accurately. My screen likes to cancel itself out. Hold on. Now I'm stumbling. So, okay, here's the scene. Giants up 3-0 in the top of the fourth inning. They've got runners on first and second, no outs. And Cal Quantrill, this is kind of the definition, I think the defining moment of the game here. So that's the scene for the Rockies, or just the game in general. And who is this hitting? This is Wisely hitting for the San Francisco Giants. He rips a line drive down the first baseline. And, literally, I don't even want to say 9 times out of 10. I mean, like 99.9% of the time, this is a base hit that is going to score at least 1, maybe even 2 runs for the San Francisco Giants. This would have made it a 5-0 ball game. And the reason why none of those runs scored and the reason why there was an out recorded on the play is off the bat, the ball hit the umpire in fair territory. I've never seen that before. And I honestly didn't even know what the rule was, to be honest with you. I don't know if they called dead ball. Long story short, obviously they ended up recording the out and whatnot, but seems just one of those wacky scenarios that I have not seen in my entire lifetime watching Major League Baseball. Maybe I've seen it, at the Little League level. Like I used to umpire Little League. I used to umpire youth ball. So, I don't think any of my partners ever got hit. But, basically point being a wacky way for the Rockies to kind of get a break. And again, guys, they had the Giants were up 3-0 at this point with runners on first and second, no out, top of the fourth inning, or 1 out, excuse me. And this was the first pitch of the at-bat from Cal Quantrill, who was kind of reeling a little bit at that point. And he gets bailed out thanks to the ball going off of the umpire. And let me watch it in real time. I wish I could show it to you, but I can't for legal purposes. But so, the umpire, the first base umpire in that situation is straddled between the fair and foul territory, like maybe, I don't know, 5 5-ish feet behind the bag, right? And so he sees the ball come off the bat, and you see the umpires do the Olay to get out of the ball, time and time again throughout the season, right? Throughout all these games that we're watching. And so the ball gets absolutely smoked off the bat, and since he's a left-handed hitter, the ball kind of curves. So like, while it kind of looks like it's going to go one way, the umpire's trying to read it off the bat. The curvature of the ball, actually, I also think it ricocheted off the base here potentially. It's just if you haven't watched this yet, my guy Patrick Lyons, check him out on Twitter at Patrick D Lyons. He's got the video of this on his Twitter account, and I'm trying to visualize it. Yeah, so the ball off the bat, and then I can't tell if it skips off the bag or not, but somehow, some way, this baseball ends up connecting with the first base umpire. And, the Rockies get a break because, you're potentially looking at a 4-0 score, a 5-0 score. And look, I know that the Rockies were down for a majority of this game, but, we've talked about it on the Locked On Rockies postcast here that, when you're within 3 runs, okay, you especially early in the game, like you're down, but you're not exactly out. When you're down 5 runs, 6 runs, right? That's when it just starts to get a little bit unrealistic, or, you got to have to thread the needle when it comes to trying to, make a comeback in that instance. And, maybe somebody was watching out over them. Todd Helton's about to get inducted into the Hall of Fame officially. So maybe it's the Todd father watching over Coors Field and the Rockies. I don't know. Maybe it's the baseball gods. But that is one of the more interesting things that I've ever seen in my time watching, covering, talking, listening, observing Major League Baseball, is a ball that is hit off the bat that should be a base hit 9.9999999 times out of 10. Ends up not being a base hit because the ball ricochets off the umpire. So big break for the Rockies there, but let's not lose sight of what they did later on in this ball game. So the Rockies were held runless until the 6th inning, and they piled it on. They scored runs in every single inning the rest of the way. 2 runs in the 6th. They added an additional run in the 7th, and then 4 insurance runs for the Rockies there in the 8th inning before they end up closing this game out and win by a final score of 7-3. So you love to see it as the Rockies get the job done in a bit of an unconventional fashion. But a win is a win, as we like to say. And we got to talk about Brenton Doyle tonight because he has been it's a travesty. And I know that the body of work from the beginning of the year wasn't there for him, but you want to talk about a guy that's all-star caliber right now. It is Brenton Doyle. He has been absolutely electric. For the better part of close to 2 months now, but in particular in the month of July for the Rockies, he has been on fire. And looking at it here, Brenton Doyle tonight for Colorado, if my box score would like to pull up for me. I know he hit a home run, of course, because he's been that good and he's just dominating at this point. But let's see, 3, 4. He's hitting 5th tonight, 4 at-bats. He gets 2 hits, comes home to score a run, and drives in 2 on his own. He's now hitting 279 on the season. And get a load of this, guys. Brenton Doyle has been so on fire. He has 25 RBI in his last 25 games played. And I believe, let me see if I could find this. It's something like his 9th home run, I want to say, in his last Brenton Doyle has 9 home runs in 14 games played in July. I mean, this dude is a man amongst boys right now. The defense has been there as well for him. I mean, I remember when I first started doing this Locked On Rockies postcast, when I was talking about some just, bigger picture stuff, looking at some trade candidates, all that type of stuff. I had always said that Brenton Doyle, even though he's 29 years old, so a little bit older than a guy like Ezekiel Tovar, Doyle, Jones, Tovar, and McMahon at this point, because, maybe I'll get into that a little bit later on the program. He's not going anywhere, which is fine, at the end of the day, but he is, probably your most valuable trade chip, and you're nowhere near making the MLB postseason, at least not this year, and probably not next year and the following year, if we're just being honest with ourselves. But point being with Brenton Doyle, this kid's the truth, man. He is absolutely fantastic. I mean, 25 RBI in his last 25 games played, to have 9 home runs in your last 14 games, or to have 9 home runs in 14 games played in July. That is just an absurdity. It is an absolute absurdity. And look, these guys are going to get hot. They're going to get cold. So right now, Brenton Doyle is not just hot. He's as hot as the sun. He's scorching right now. So you're eventually expecting that regression to the mean. But, Brenton Doyle showing you what he is capable of and just how good of a baseball player he is. at this point in time in his career. So shout out to Brenton Doyle. He has been absolutely fantastic. And that is a good thing for the Rockies because, I'm a little worried about the second half of the season, if I'm being honest with you. And, I was building out the show notes for this and, putting the thumbnail together and putting the background together. And obviously it was a little bit of a rewrite season. I had to change it, but this is a team that is very much on the outside looking in. It's easy for teams to roll over, but loved the fight, loved the resiliency tonight from the Rockies. And what have I always said on the show, guys, especially for this team right now, it's not necessarily about trying to win every ball game. It's not trying to, the playoffs they're gone, right? You seen that South Park episode and it's gone. Like you're not sniffing the playoffs. But my big thing for the Rockies down the stretch here is be competent, play 500 baseball, work towards something, build for the future. And I think tonight, hopefully, is a good first step in that front. So we shall see. All right, let's hit our first break. When we come back, we continue along with the conversation. The Rockies taking down the San Francisco Giants by a final score of 7-3. We'll talk about Cal Quantrill's outing as it was a nice bounce back start for him. I think the rest with the All-Star break, it definitely helped him out quite a bit. So stick with us. We'll come back and do just that right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. Back in just a few minutes. All right, y'all, let's talk about our friends over at Booking.com. Yeah, why don't we? All right, because this episode of the Locked On Rockies postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah, with summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rival cities with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay, even in your rival's baseball city. So we're talking about Los Angeles. We're talking about Phoenix. We're talking about San Diego. We're talking about San Francisco. All fun cities to visit. If you're going out there for a Rockies game or just in general at any point this summer, even in the fall, even in the winter, even in the spring, be sure to check out our friends over at Booking.com because they're going to have you taken care of. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the United States for your summer travel this Major League Baseball season. And again, the right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. Once again, folks, be sure to check them out. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. You know the ads, you know the slogan. Reliable. They've been in the business for a long time. And, you can make a rival city one of your favorite cities with our friends over at Booking.com. Check them out. And let me also tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks here real quick, guys, because Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become a part of the Prize Picks community today. And now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every single week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you're having a losing lineup on Fridays. With the NBA Finals over, the hoops action does not stop on Prize Picks. Women's basketball is still heating up with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside the greats like Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You can win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia, and there is no shortage of action with our friends over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It is that easy with our friends over at Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Rockies postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. Hope everybody is doing well out there on this Friday evening. The Rockies getting a win tonight over the San Francisco Giants by a final score of 7-3. Brenton Doyle staying hot. Cal Quantrill doing his thing as well. Be sure to stay locked on right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast, because hopefully we're going to have more wins, more positivity to talk about. Hopefully not just throughout this series. Hopefully, not just tonight. Hopefully we're going to keep it running, and make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel, guys. Locked On Denver Sports YouTube channel, or Locked On Sports Denver, excuse me. Locked On Sports Denver. I keep putting it backwards. My apologies. But make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, as we've got plenty of stuff that we're working on behind the scenes. We've got some Broncos content in the works, maybe some Nuggets content in the works. I don't want to spill the beans too much, but all I'm saying is, if you're a fan of the Nuggets and if you're watching these Rockies postcasts, God bless you, because at least the Broncos are interesting and the Nuggets should be pretty darn good. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys, as we're just getting started. We're having some fun here on the Locked On Rockies postcast. But okay, let's talk about Mr. Cal Quantrill, because he was solid tonight. And we had mentioned how he got bailed out a little bit, early in that game there in the top of the fourth inning. And, somebody was watching over the Rockies because they could have easily rolled over, had it gone the other way here. But Cal Quantrill tonight, really, really solid, a quality start in an official capacity for Mr. Quantrill. He goes 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks. The walk continues to be an issue, and 5 strikeouts, and that gets his ERA down to 4.15, which is, definitely trending in the right direction for Cal Quantrill, because this is a guy that, if you watch any of the episodes leading up to the All-Star break, I believe his last 2 or 3 starts, and I'll pull up the numbers right now, not so good. But tonight, good mix of pitches, good command, good temperance and composure there on the mound. And, he's rewarded for it, gets a little lucky there, like we said there in the 4th inning. But when it's all said and done, Cal Quantrill getting the job done for the Rockies, which is a win in and of itself. Like, even if the bullpen had gone on to blow this game, thank goodness that they did not, you still feel a lot better about the state of this rotation if Cal Quantrill is able to kind of round into form like we saw him for a majority of the first half of the season, because Kyle Freeland, who's the starter in tomorrow's game, has been absolutely on point. German Marquez, who's now back in the rotation, looked, solid for being German Marquez, and then his return from the injured list against the Mets right before the All-Star break. I believe that was also the final game before the All-Star break as well. So a nice little timing there from the Rockies' perspective to get Marquez's feet wet and all that good stuff. And now he's got some time with the All-Star break to kind of rest, recover, and get ready for his next start. But point being, guys, if Cal Quantrill is going to be able to be a serviceable starting pitcher once again, you're going to have hopefully 3 guys in that starting rotation, which is a lot better than what it used to be, because it used to be Cal Quantrill and then a bunch of question marks. I guess Ty Block had a little bit of a run there at one point, but at least some stability, which should also in turn then help the bullpen, getting some more depth, getting some more long relievers in there, guys that were starting that you can shift to the bullpen. To see Cal Quantrill go out there tonight and do his thing, I think is hopefully a sign of things to come. Again, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts for Cal Quantrill. And as I had mentioned, his numbers leading up to this start, not very good, guys. Not very good at all. And let's see, the Rockies only won 2 of his last 3 starts. Let's see here. Maybe they're actually not as bad as I was imagining. He got shelled against the Reds. Maybe that's what's sticking out to me. On the 9th of July, the Rockies lost that game 12-6. Quantrill only went 2 full innings pitched. He gave up 4 hits, 5 earned runs in that game. Gave up 2 home runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. His start before that against the Brewers, the Rockies won that game 4-3. He went 5 innings, pitched 5 hits, 2 earned runs. So, okay, not bad. 4 walks. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. The Rockies actually ended up winning that game 4-3. And then he was decent against the White Sox on the 29th of June. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits. Maybe not that good. The Rockies lost the game 11-3. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Gave up 3 home runs in that game. But did strike out 8 as well. So a little up and down for Mr. Cal Quantrill over his last handful of starts. But tonight that was not the case. And I have a reason to believe that, it was probably a combination of getting that out of your system, right, against the Reds, a couple of interesting up and down starts leading up to that start against the Reds. And then, just the benefit of having the All-Star break when it kind of showed up. Cal Quantrill for 80% of his starts this season has been pretty darn good for the Rockies. And, he was kind of trending down in the wrong direction there. leading up to the All-Star break. So a nice opportunity for Cal Quantrill to get a little bit of a reset, and he took full advantage of that tonight. And, the Giants ended up having, 7 hits, which is, whatever. He gave up 5 of them. Nice to see the bullpen only clamp down and allow 2 in the final 3 innings of work for them. So that's definitely a win as well. But nice stuff tonight from Cal Quantrill. Because, like I said, if the Rockies are able to get another stabilizer there in the rotation, the vision, the goal of 500 baseball the rest of the way actually becomes a little bit more attainable. So you love to see that. Like I said, a good mix of pitches tonight. And, hopefully a sign of things to come for Cal. And I saw this from Kelsey Wingert on Twitter. Let's see here. Yeah, Cal Quantrill gets his handshakes after the game. His 11th quality start of the season. Mentioned it. He lowers his ERA to 4.15 and exits with the Rockies trailing 3-0. But good stuff from Mr. Quantrill. And like I said, fingers crossed that he can keep that up moving forward because, I don't want to keep repeating myself here, but the Rockies will take any pitching that they can get. Positive pitching. We know that they'll take any pitching they can get. But in regards to a positive outcome, that is a win in of itself. But like I said, the bullpen also did a good job tonight, guys. Tyler Kinley, two-thirds of an inning pitched. He had 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Good stuff. His ERA is at 7.52. Sheesh. Jalen Beeks had a big strikeout with the bases loaded, and I believe the 8th inning for the San Francisco Giants. He went an inning and a third. No hits allowed. You love to see that in 2 strikeouts. So hopefully another reliable guy that Buddy Black can call upon in this bullpen. And Victor Vodnik gets the job done in the 9th. Inning pitched, clean across the board, and a strikeout. His ERA is down to 4.03. And that's all she wrote for the Rockies when it comes to the pitching department. So good stuff. 2 thumbs up for the Rocks tonight as the pitching does their job and the offense rallies late. And we've got ourselves a 7-3 victory. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show, give you some follow-up thoughts about this game tonight, and we'll also take a look ahead at what is coming up for the Rockies in tomorrow's game against the division rival in the San Francisco Giants. Rockies looking to make it 2 in a row. We'll see if they can do just that. All right, stick with us right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast. We're back in just a few minutes. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Supply House because you're going to want to get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trade, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every single time. I love that you get to talk to a person, no computers, no AI. You're talking to a real person every single time with our friends over at Supply House, guys. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every single order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Be sure to check them out, guys. Supplyhouse.com. Let them know that the Locked On Rockies postcast sent you, and they will steer you in the right direction. Let me also tell you about our friends over at FanDuel because I love sports. I love them so much that I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer and fewer games, and the sports, well, they just aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime I am in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers, not just new customers, all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. I lost a couple of coins on FanDuel tonight. I bet on my Mets. I laid the 1.5. Did not work out so well. You could have made good money betting the Rockies tonight. They were a plus money underdog at home. You could have got plus money across the board on this Rockies team tonight. So if anybody bet the Rockies, hopefully you did it on FanDuel because they got you covered with all the bonuses and the boosts and all that good stuff. But you would have been a winner tonight had you bet on FanDuel and bet on the Rockies as they take down the San Francisco Giants by a final score of 7-3. But check them out, FanDuel.com. You know what it is. FanDuel is the best in the business when it comes to legal sports betting here in the United States of America in the year 2024. Check them out. Let them know that Locked On Rockies sent you, and good luck on your wagers, folks. All right, welcome on back in. Final segment here of your Locked On Rockies postcast. Wow, I haven't done one of these in a few days, and it feels like this is one of the faster shows that I've done in a minute. Love it. And maybe it's the fact that I haven't done one of these in a couple of days, but also the fact that the Rockies won a baseball game and did it in pretty exciting fashion. And again, guys, make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel, Locked On Sports Denver. We got a lot of stuff in the works. We got postcasts the rest of the way for Major League Baseball season. We got some stuff in the works with the Broncos, the Nuggets, all that good stuff. So make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. Okay, let's see. Who else were the heroes of the game tonight for the Rockies? Obviously, it all starts and ends with Brenton Doyle, then shortly thereafter, Cal Quantrill. But a decent night at the office for the Rockies offense. Charlie Blackmon draws a couple of walks tonight. He is hitless, though. But Tovar, big home run late in the game. He had 5 at-bats tonight, had a couple of hits. His batting average creeping back up there a little bit. He was floating right around that mid-280, 285 mark for a minute. Now he's hitting 276. He was down to 260s for a minute. So nice to see Mr. Tovar bouncing back here a little bit. Ryan McMahon with a goose egg tonight, the lone Rockies All-Star, 0-for-3, although he also did draw for 2 walks tonight, so I guess that's a little bit of a positive. Brenton Doyle, who we mentioned, had a pair of hits. Brendan Rodgers had a hit tonight. He's been slumping. Nice to see that. And Michael Toglia with a hit. And Jake Cave, how have I not talked? What is wrong with me? That's a disservice on my part. Jake Cave, I was just so focused on the umpire situation, Cal Quantrill and Brenton Doyle. Jake Cave provided this Rockies team an absolute spark in this game and is the primary reason why they won this ball game, honestly, in my opinion. So bottom of the 6th inning, Brenton Doyle then hits his 16th home run of the year. That makes it 3-2. We mentioned that earlier in the show. Tovar drives a run home in the 7th, but then in the bottom of the 8th inning, Jake Cave hit his 3rd home run of the season on the fly ball to right center field, and that blew this game wide open. That made it 6-3 for the Rockies. So shout out to Jake Cave, man, the elder statesman in the room, the veteran who's been around the block. He showed up tonight. He's that fiery, passionate, type of player. I know he got out to a little bit of a slow start, but he's been, like I said, man, I've been in that clubhouse a handful of times this year. He is well respected. He's well liked in that clubhouse. A little bit of a leader. And look, I know the Rockies record isn't great, but you got to find ways to stay inspired and stay motivated. And I think Jake Cave is a self-motivated guy, but I think that's also rubbing off on the team a little bit. So nice to see him come through tonight with a big-time 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning, a critical portion of the game that broke up the tie, put the Rockies ahead 6-3, and they never looked back. And as we mentioned, Ezequiel Tovar followed him up shortly thereafter in the bottom of the 8th inning with an extra insurance run to make it 7-3 with the final score. So shout out to Jake Cave, man. Shout out to Ezequiel Tovar. Shout out Brenton Doyle and Cal Quantrill. Just a good, solid, victorious baseball game for the Colorado Rockies tonight. I mean, there's been so many bad games, so many blown games, offense life. I mean, I've had offense lifeless on today's show on the background here. Probably more often than not on these shows in recent memory, because that's just the best way to explain it. The Rockies offense in the bulk of the time I've been doing these shows has been lifeless. But that was not the case tonight. So good stuff from the Rocks as they win 7-3. Shout out to all the players. But okay, before we get out of here, let's take a look at tomorrow's matchup between the Rockies and the Giants. It will be Kyle Freeland on the mound. He's 1-3 with an ERA of 6, but that is a bit misleading because since coming back off the injured list, Kyle Freeland, I mean, his ERA when he came off the injured list, I think was like 12. So, he's cut that in half. He has been absolutely dynamite for the Rockies since coming back. So you got to feel pretty good with Kyle Freeland on the mound tomorrow. And he's going up against Logan Webb, who's actually been pretty good for the Giants. He's 7-7, so the record isn't great, but he's got a 3.47 earned run average to pair with 107 strikeouts on the season. So that'll be your pitching matchup tomorrow. It'll be Kyle Freeland going up against Logan Webb. And Logan Webb's only 27. This dude looks like he's 37. No offense. Sorry. I feel like I've known that name for a while. But let's take a look here. Logan Webb's last time out against Toronto. He went 5 innings, pitched 8 hits, 7 earned runs. Gave him a home run in that game and 1 walk. So hopefully Logan Webb, for our sake here on the postcast, hopefully, hopefully the All-Star break didn't work as well for him as it did for Cal Quantrill. because it would be nice to see the Rockies try to get a couple of wins here out of the gate. And for Kyle Freeland, his last time out on July 10th as well against the Reds, 6 2/3 innings pitched. He was great. 8 hits, only have 2 runs in that game. Did give up a home run, 1 walk, but struck out 9 batters. So it'll be Logan Webb and Kyle Freeland tomorrow. Looking forward to that one. But all right, that is going to do it for me, folks. A good victory tonight for the Rockies, 7-3, your final score. And nice way to start coming back from the All-Star break. Nice to see Brenton Doyle stay hot. Nice to see Jake Cave and Cal Quantrill and all those guys get the job done. All in all, a nice victory for the Rockies, hopefully with some momentum to come from it as they follow it up with tomorrow's game against the San Francisco Giants with Logan Webb and Kyle Freeland on the mound, respectively. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP if your heart desires. And make sure to check out the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel, which is where you're watching this right now if you're watching on YouTube. And make sure to smash that subscribe button. We got a ton of fun stuff in the works here on the channel with football and basketball season rapidly approaching. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Rockies win tonight 7-3. Good stuff. And we'll talk to you guys mañana.